Hello, my name is Lakin, and welcome to my channel.
I'm Walter, hi.
And this is Two Peas in a Book Club. But this is not our regularly scheduled video for Two Peas in a Book. This is a bonus episode because I had tried to film a review of the Uglies Trilogy because I had just read it and had lots of thoughts. But when I filmed that, it was horrendous. No one's ever going to see that. So, because we had both read it around the same time, and it's been recent, I figured I would force you to discuss it with me. Make this a bonus Two Peas in a Book episode.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
But we are discussing Uglies, the trilogy. We discuss a little bit the fourth book at the end, but I didn't read the fourth book. Only he did, so he basically just tells me what the fourth book is. But yeah, so there will be spoilers, but if you're here to remind yourself of what happened in this series because it was so long ago that you read it, because this came out in 2005.
Yeah, long time ago.
And now, like, years later, Netflix is coming out with a movie, which, whenever I was reading this, I thought that this would be a decent movie.
Yeah.
If it has a good budget. So, yeah, I guess there's nothing else really to say about this, so
you just want to get started?
Yeah, go ahead and get into it.
Okay.
What book are you currently reading?
Well, we just started my best friend's exorcism.
By Grady Hendrix.
Yeah, I knew that. Like today, we just read the first couple chapters. That's going pretty well. But besides that, I'm just waiting for books to come off of hold, off of Libby and stuff. So I started No Exit.
Yeah.
But I'm way behind on our deadline to finish it, and I don't know if that's gonna happen.
It will happen if you prioritize reading. You know, if you watch my video of how to read more,
I watched that video.
Yeah, use those tips. Even though you're not reading more, you can use those tips to help you actually read a physical book.
No.
Yes. But no. Okay. So I'm reading 3 books because I'm reading both of our Two Peas in a Pod books for this month. But I'm also reading Lovely War by Julie Berry. It is a World War I, World War II romance novel.
Cool.
But it's told from the perspective of the gods. So Aphrodite is telling the story about these humans to show what true love is and stuff like that. And as soon as she started telling the story, like within 3 pages, I was already in love with this one couple. And I was like, they deserve to be together. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. They're adorable little beings.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Oh. But, so yeah, that's what I'm reading. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. What are you reading? Yeah? Good to know. Okay, so, since we're doing a trilogy.
Yeah. It's a lot.
There are 4 books, but I didn't read the last one, and you did, but you said that the last one wasn't connected to the first 3.
Correct.
So, at the end, like, you can talk about the 4th one, and, like, if you have ideas, because it's part of the universe.
Yeah.
So it's fine, but you'll just be basically telling me about it, because I didn't read them.
Okay.
So, going through each book, go ahead and give your rating.
Yeah. So for Uglies, which was the very first one, I gave a 4-star rating to. It was great intro to a world. Fantastic premise. Loved it. brought back a lot of like memories from. This was written in 2005, so it was like even pre Hunger Games, which is what we think of as like the beginning of the dystopian craze.
Yeah.
But it was very nostalgic for me because it aligned. It was a lot like those. Book 2 was Pretties, which I gave 3 stars to. Book 3 was Specials, which I gave 2 stars to, and then the 4th book, which was Extras, I gave that 2 stars. So it was just
going
downhill.
So I guess I don't need to ask what your favorite book out of the 4
no, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But what about you? What did you rate them?
Okay, so the first 2, Uglies and Pretties, I gave both 4 stars.
Yeah.
And then Specials, I gave it 2 stars. But thinking about it, and whenever I was trying to make my own solo review about this series, I realized this is probably a 1-star book. Which,
That's such a big drop.
It is. But, like, the ending just left such a sour taste in my mouth. I'm still bitter about it.
It was a pretty bad ending.
Like, I feel the same way about this ending as I did when I finished the Divergent trilogy.
That's crazy.
And, like, the ending of that, how I was so mad about that for, like, days on end. Like, now I don't care because...
Yeah.
Whatever. But, like, I feel the same way about that. So...
Man.
And because I gave it a 1-star, and you said, hey, like, it's, the 4th one doesn't really connect it. It's like 3 years into the future, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I'm not reading that. Not right now, at least.
It would have been another 1-star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know which one I would be my favorite, because, like, I feel like in the second one, there was more showing than telling.
Yeah.
Versus the first one, which is one of the big issues I had with the first one. But also, like, looking back on it, like, the first one was, I guess, quote-unquote, unique. But then the second one and the third one just played the same formula as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know which one's my favorite, but obviously it's not the last one.
So you can't decide between the first and the second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't think either of them would be a favorite, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Alright. So, what about this? Who was your favorite character out of the trilogy?
I can't remember his name.
David?
No. The other guy. The one who died. He got brain damage from the nanobots. In the second book.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, her boyfriend.
Was it Ben?
No.
No.
I totally forgot about that guy.
Okay, let me see. He was the least annoying.
Yeah, I thought he was okay. Her boyfriend is totally hot.
I don't have a... Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. Zane? Are we sure?
Yeah, it says it right there. See? At the beginning of the book, who's Tally's best friend? Oh, well, at the beginning of the book, Tally's best friend is David, but Zane is an option, and that reminded me that Zane was his name.
Okay. So, Zane's my favorite.
Zane.
Or he's my...
least
annoying.
Yeah.
And that's probably because he was brain dead half the time.
Poor guy.
And then died.
Yeah.
But, like, even though I enjoyed the first one, whenever I was first getting into it, I still didn't love Talia. Taliwa. Like, I didn't, like, she was fine. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't love her or hate her. And I definitely didn't like Shay.
Yeah, I didn't like Shay either. No.
And David, we just didn't see him enough.
We never...
for, like, me to actually get any opinion about him.
Yeah, we were never attached to him. I would agree with you. Zane was my favorite character now that you remind me that he existed. Which is saying something, though, but because, like, not a single character had any arc.
Oh, yeah.
At all. There was zero development.
Yeah, they were the exact same people they were at the end of the series as they were at the very beginning of the series.
Yeah.
The only difference was they had gone through a few surgeries.
Yep. Yep. They had been brainwashed, but they were still the same people.
Yeah. They, like, when they were brainwashed, they acted a little bit differently, but not really.
Yeah.
And it was very easy to revert back and be unbrainwashed for them. So.
Yeah, no. And that's probably why I don't have, like, an actual... I mean, Zane was okay because he was brainwashed from the beginning. And he sort of died before he got unbrainwashed. Right?
No, I mean,
he got unbrainwashed.
The nanobots fixed him and cured him, but they kept eating him.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know, we just didn't... He was only alive for one single book that we saw him.
Yeah.
And that might be why he was my favorite, because I would have been fine with any of the other characters dying, too, because I just didn't care about him.
Yeah, when he died, I had no, like even though I enjoyed him the most,
Yeah.
No sadness, like, I was like, okay. I was actually, like, when he died, I was annoyed because of how Tally was reacting. And, like, she was, like, for 2 seconds angry, wanting to kill everyone, and then 2 seconds later, she was perfectly normal. Yeah, and then she was hanging out and talking with David. And it was just like, okay, I thought he was, like, the guy you actually cared about.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there should be some grief in there, but there just wasn't. Which, I mean, that may be from her being a special and being brainwashed or whatever.
But she wasn't a special then.
Yeah, when he died, yeah, she was.
I thought when they escaped... Oh, when he died, she might have been, but, like, when they escaped...
When they escaped where?
That's right, yeah. Because Zane... They had the links on their arms. And then...
That was in the second book.
Yeah, I know. Does he die in the third?
Yeah.
Oh.
He dies at the end of the third book.
Oh.
Right before she goes back and he dies in that new city.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Man, I just didn't care about this series. I remember now. Yeah, you're right. There was just zero... Yeah. No reaction. Besides, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't read these when they first came out, they were written in 2005. And you can tell they were written in 2005. So, like, I guess this is 2 questions in one. How do they hold up to, like, reading them in 2020? And also, if you had read them when they were first out, what would you think of them? Like, if you can channel back your 12-year-old mind.
Well, in 2005, I was 9.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, like, we didn't read, like, we probably would have read it around the same time we were reading the dystopian books, which is, like, when we were 12.
12 or 13, yeah. If I read this around then, I would have been okay with it. I probably would have given them, like, 4s and 3s. It would have been alright. I don't think it would have been my favorite. I think Hunger Games was still, like, my favorite dystopian. You know, I read all of them. Divergent, Hunger Games, The Maze Runner, The Giver, and that's... Did you know The Giver was a series?
Yeah.
The Giver was, like, a trilogy.
Yeah.
Maybe... No, he wrote a 4th one. Yeah.
I never read it, but I knew that because I think my mom read it.
Yeah. But I read all those. I was really big into dystopian books. And this one would have been alright. Very cool premise. Love the premise. If the author was a better author. I would have liked it more.
So rude.
I'm sorry. It's the truth. The characters had 0 development. The plot was the same in every single one. She just changed times and settings.
Here, let me see if...
You can edit this out if I'm being too rude.
Oh, no, I mean, it's your opinion. If you're just a mean person, you're just a mean person.
Not a mean person. I'm an honest person.
No, it's fine. Let's see.
Scott Westerfeld. Scott, babe.
I want to see what his first book was. His next book, Imposters, returns to the world of Uglies. Oh, it comes out in 2018.
There's another one?
Apparently.
What? Extras.
Well, I don't see it.
Maybe he just didn't.
Maybe
it's just not attached.
Yeah, there's not there. Okay.
Did he die?
Imposters. Oh, that'd be awkward if he did. Let's go to his website. Yeah, okay. He's alive. He's not dead.
He posted in April of
Imposters,
2020.
let's see. Uglies is my most popular series, but now there's another 4 books on the way. Well, they may be good.
Maybe he's had some practice writing.
Okay, that's mean. Yeah. No, I'm gonna keep it in, just for people to see. So there's 2 trailers. The second, Shatter City, is also out now. Are they just not on Goodreads?
Why would Goodreads not have books? Let's see if Libby has them.
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. Here, what is this one? Frey and Raffi are inseparable. Are those 2 of the characters in extras? No? 2 edges of the same knife, but only one of them is ever seen in public. Frey is Raffi's twin sister and her body double. Their powerful father has many enemies. The world has grown dangerous, and the old order falls apart. So while Raffi was raised to be the perfect daughter, Frey has been taught to kill. Her only purpose is to protect her sister, to sacrifice herself for Raffi if she must. When her father sends Frey in Raffi's place as collateral in a precious deal, she becomes the perfect imposter. But Cole, the son of a rival leader, is getting close enough to spot the killer inside her. How does that have anything to do with Uglies?
It doesn't. Stupid premise. Also, he spelled Cole C-O-L. Get over yourself, man.
You're being so mean.
I'm intentionally being mean. I'm picking on stuff that doesn't actually matter. I don't actually care.
It's a dystopian book.
Yeah.
And it's in the future. In the future, names are spelled weird. You're making fun of C-O-L when you read books with names that are just someone slamming their fingers on a keyboard.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. You have no room to talk.
But they're not misspelled normal names.
Yeah, but they're not names at all. They're just a bunch of letters put together.
I disagree.
And at least this book is unique. I've never heard anything like this, but all your fantasy books that you read are all the same premise.
You're being mean.
Because you're being mean. You need to be taken down a peg.
I don't deserve this.
Okay. So there's another series. It may not actually have anything to do with Uglies. It doesn't look like it. But they're sold together. I don't know. But
maybe it's in the same world?
Maybe. I don't know. But okay, let's get back to the actual discussion. I can't remember what we were talking about. Holding up.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes when you're reading a book that's like from the past, you're like, ooh, this didn't age well.
Yeah. Like,
not talking about the writing style, not talking about like anything like that. Like, does this book hold up?
Yeah. I think it does really well. It's like, if you view it from a discussion point of view of like, it's talking about how we view other people and what they look like and how people treated people who look different.
Yeah.
That's a little bit on the nose for today's society.
Yeah.
So that holds up very well, and he nailed it in 2005. So that was good.
Yeah. I don't know about the making everyone look the same, how that, like, I don't know if that's the right way to go about it, like, in real life, but it's an interesting discussion of, like, talking about how, like, people are, like, it's like the only way to like get little kids to play nice is if they all have the exact same things.
Yeah.
Instead of them being mature and like actual nice kids who there can be different things and they all play nice. But yeah, I think this book, the discussion part of it holds up really well, especially like talking about like the because didn't the Rusties die out from like was it a virus or was it an oil eating parasite?
It was a man-made oil virus. Whenever this virus got into oil, it would explode.
Yeah.
And the explosion would send out little spores, was the word used, that would infect other oil, which would then explode.
Yeah.
And it just was a chain reaction across the entire world, where everyone died, or, you know, they eventually died out because it was nowhere oil, and that's all they depended on was oil.
Yeah. So it's very like the discussions about like not taking care of the planet and just like destroying everything and all this stuff. Like, we're still doing that. We need to not. I don't know if their way is the best way, but it's interesting to see like that's how this world chose to take it. To fix these problems, this is what they chose to do. They chose to isolate every city so there's no communication with other cities. They chose to basically numb everybody. And doing that, they helped heal their planet.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this book, I don't know if the whole series, like if there's going to be multiple movies, or if it's just going to be like one whole movie encompassing the whole series. I don't know. But Netflix has picked it up.
Cool.
I think they already have some of the actors and actresses mentioned. At least I know Joey King is going to be in it, which she was, she played Gypsy Rose in The Act.
The Act. Oh, yeah. Cool.
That actress. So, what would you want to see in the movies? Because I think this will be, like, as I was reading it, some of the parts are very, they were very montagey. And, like, he would, like, speed up through months or days. And it felt like montages in a book. And so I could see those as in a movie. And then when I heard this, I was like, oh, I think this is going to be a decent, like, transferal, depending on how they portray the pretties. Because they can either look really cool or really creepy.
Yeah.
Then that all depends on their CGI budget.
Yeah.
So what would you want to see in the movies? Or do you not want to see anything because you don't want to watch the movie?
I don't want to watch it.
You don't?
No, I mean, I think it would make a good TV show. But in my experience, movie adaptations, even of bad books... Okay, well, I say that. Because if it starts off with a bad book, the only direction you can go is up, right?
Yeah. Or
equal to. I'll watch it. I just don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes for movies anymore after Alita Battle Angel. I was so excited. It was like 6 months. As soon as the trailer started coming out, I was so excited for that movie, and then I just got crushed.
But there have been good movies since Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, but I just don't get my hopes up for them. I always have the low expectations, so that I'm always like, wow! Instead of, oh.
So you don't have any parts of the books that you would want to see in the movies?
I would like to see more of the Smokies, where they're up in the mountains and stuff, because in the book, Tally got there, and like 2 days later, like she got there as a spy, fully intending to turn everyone in, and 2 days later she was like, I'm a convert.
Well, it felt 2 days, but I think it was a week.
Yeah, it was a week, but still. Like, she went her entire life wanting the procedure, She went to the Smokies to turn everybody in to get the procedure, to earn the procedure. And then within a week, she was like, man, ugly people are pretty too. And then there was no...
We didn't get to see her transformation.
There was no... Yeah. You couldn't see her thoughts, couldn't see her transformation at all. It just happened across one day within the Smokies. It was 6 days, but like one day when she decided. So, anyways, I would like to see more character development, more time in the Smokies, more time spent on everything. And if it's a movie, that's going to be difficult, but we'll see. We'll see how they do it. I have hopes, but not high hopes. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for the movie. Yeah. I can see this, like I said, like it'll all depend on how big the budget is, because this movie will need CGI.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Unless they're just gonna have because even if they have really attractive actors, there's a specific part in the book where are really attractive actors and actresses in the magazine. And they're like, ew, that's ugly. Yeah. It's like...
Who are they going to pick for those photos?
They'll probably just have a really old, Teen Bop or Tiger Beat, whatever, old little teen magazine. So, all the people in the magazine are, older now. But... So, I'm excited. I have high hopes for it. But I also, I'm not really... super harsh on book movie adaptations because they're two different mediums, and I'd never expect them to be the exact same, because if I wanted them to be the exact same, I would just read the book, I
understand that.
But the things I would want to see in the movie are, I want to see the process of someone getting a surgery.
That'd be cool.
I want to see the whenever they were picking out her face, Shay's face, and playing with that thing. Yeah. I want to see that.
That's cool.
I want to see more. I want to be more on the rebellion side, even though it didn't really feel like a rebellion. I want to be on the Smokies side more, and seeing them create the cure and go in and help and convert all these people and stuff like that. Yeah. Instead of just hearing about it, I want to see more of that. And I also want to see the museum. Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't a museum. It was the library, but it had the magazine and stuff in it.
Oh, I thought you meant where they got the nanobats that ate everything.
Oh, well, I guess there was a museum. But I want to see them exploring stuff from our decade and all that stuff.
That's cool.
And then there were a lot of cool scenes that I think would play really well on the big screen, like the ice skating rink that melts away.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
When the specials are attacking them and the Smokies gets raided and stuff like that. Yeah. I just want to see more action. Because, one of the things that, really annoyed me was the fact that there was so much telling and not showing. Yeah. I didn't enjoy speeding up, months. Especially at the end, whenever there was the war. And it was oh, here we are, we're taking down this corrupt government. Here's the dystopian book moment. And then... it's within 2 paragraphs, and we've passed by 3 months, and then it's
it's over.
Oh, it's fine. No big deal. It's all forgotten. What war? Blah blah blah. So, yeah. But
I want to see now that you've listed all your things. I want to see the city itself, because it sort of talked about it. There was a river. There was the Specials bunker. Yeah. There was Prettyville or whatever they called it. New Pretty Town. Yeah. Well, it just didn't show or describe anything like that. It described the rusty city outside of town pretty well, I just envisioned it as like New York.
Yeah, I just
Except
kind of
300 years in the future.
envisioned the towns as like just really high tech and really clean and like abstract architecture and stuff. Like that's what I imagined. And like I didn't really imagine any grass or trees except for in that like little love park where like everyone went to make out.
I envisioned a lot. I envisioned, I guess, just like suburbia is what I thought of.
I think what I'm thinking of is the Capitol.
Ouch.
In the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
That's what I picture.
That's funny.
The Capitol.
Yeah.
Now we should probably talk about the dystopian part itself.
Yeah.
We've already talked about it a little bit with the oil and the explosions and stuff like that. But like this dystopian world, I guess, compared to others and like what you thought of like the actual part that made it seem to them utopia, but to us dystopia.
Yeah. I would call it like the controlling government, where the procedure is a way for them to control the population because they put lesions on their brain to make them more compliant and happy and carefree and stuff, and they just don't care about what's happening around them so that they can be controlled. That was very dystopic to me. Brainwashy. And then just like we didn't it wasn't really the type of book where it was the chaos after the fall of the world as we know it. It was 300 years in the future, sort of like Hunger Games, in that like there was this massive nuclear war that wiped out most of the population in the Hunger Games, but we just didn't see that. We saw however many 100 years in the future, or scores of years in the future, where they had already built up a society or a system.
Yeah.
So that was very dystopic, and I liked it. It was a good premise. It was a very good premise. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed the premise and like the whole making people pretty and like we're using the evolution and like the things that like you just kind of gravitate towards to affect what the faces look like. Like young pretties or new pretties have big doe eyes and look more young and babyish because you want to protect them and you're attracted to them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like the middle-aged people have like the very trustworthy faces and stuff like that, and you just like immediately want to tell them everything. And then also like just it's a very smart idea. Like, hey, you want to be pretty? Like, here's a surgery to make you pretty. I promise there's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
And, like, how people just didn't, like, they equated the way their brain changed to, like, think of things from being, like, these, like, rambunctious prankster teens to these, like, airhead, just party all the time. Just, like, thought of that as like growing up, and those are just ugly little tricks, and you don't really think much about the like, oh, I'm different after this surgery. You just like, oh, I'm different because I'm older.
I'm growing up and I'm becoming more mature. Yeah.
Which I think is very smart. And then how they talked about Rusties. And it's a lot like how we often talk about, like, horrible things that have happened in the past. Like, you villainize them so much, and you're like, well, I'm not like them, so we're not doing anything bad at all. And because you're focused on villainizing the past as much as you are, you're blinded by the villainy that's happening in your time, because at least we're not doing that. At least we're not burning down forests, and at least we're not building all these structures and using all these resources and blah, 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 that you don't really think to consider what's happening. Which happens today. because people forget that horrible things happen, and then history repeats itself. But I liked this dystopian world, and like I liked the books. It's just not like the series. I'm glad I read it, and I liked just reading it and stuff. But this isn't gonna be like my top favorite series.
Yeah, no.
Like the first one I go to when thinking is The Hunger Games.
Definitely.
And then maybe after that, I don't know, probably The Selection and stuff. Like this wouldn't be in my top 5, but I also understand why it would be in someone's top 5.
Uh-huh.
Just because it is like such a good thing. And I feel like if I liked Tally more,
yeah,
I would, but yeah. So, speaking of Talia, Taliwa, Skinny, whatever. No, Squint Eyes or whatever.
Squinty? Yeah, I think so.
Her like Uglies.
Shay was
nickname.
skinny.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
But speaking of her,
yeah,
let's go ahead and discuss her.
I thought she was okay. Again, there was, I don't want to keep talking on it. There was just such little character development at all.
Mm-hmm.
But her in general, she was okay. She started out wanting the surgery so bad, and doing everything in her power to get it. And from a very general point of view, she recognizes that she finds out about the brainwashing and everything like that, and she recognizes that it's wrong, and wants to do something about it. And they go the revolution and everything like that, attempting to free the population from the control of an overpowering government.
Yeah.
That was good. So she was, in general, a good person, and I feel like she could have been a great protagonist. I mean, she was an alright protagonist. We didn't get to see, I felt no attachment to her at all because of how little we knew about her or she changed across the course of the books. So
yeah, I think I enjoyed her, and I think it wasn't until book 3 when I realized that there was no arc.
It was the same for me. Yep.
And once I realized that, I kind of was able to look back more on book 2 and kind of be like, oh, we're just going through the same pattern of her decision making, and she's not really learning. And but in the first book, I didn't love her, but I enjoyed her. Like, she was enjoyable to read about and stuff like that. Especially, even though we didn't really get to see her mental process of gut changing and being like, no, I want to stay ugly. I completely understood and followed and tracked her all the way up to that point.
Definitely. And
I thought it made sense and all this stuff, and she's just a 15-year-old girl, Which one thing, I think there is some timeline errors in this series. Because I think at the end, it still talks about how she's 16.
Really?
But, it goes, in the first book, there's, a 3-month gap. And then there's, a bunch of other 3-month gaps.
Yeah.
And so, maybe she could still be 16. And maybe she did turn 17 and I didn't notice it. But it felt, really fast. Everything went really fast.
By the end of book 3?
I think so.
Yeah, no, I would have definitely guessed, if not 18.
She definitely wasn't 18.
I know, but, based off of how you feel the books are, how much time you think, because with all the montages and stuff, because, so it starts out at her being 15, 3 months before she turns 16. So she turns 16 and immediately goes to the Smokies for, I guess, a week, right?
Yeah. But then they stay, after they break out Shay and stuff, they stay in the new Smokies.
Yeah, for
3 or 4 months to get a cure.
This is still second book, right?
And then...
Or is this first book?
That's first book. And then in second book,
mm-hmm.
she gets turned into a pretty.
Yeah.
And then she's there for like a month or two.
A couple months, yeah.
And then they get her, and then something else happens for a while. Oh, they like in the second book, they're like, it's like a couple months after she takes the pill, like a month maybe.
Yeah, it's a full month before they escape.
And then in the third book, she's like in the training for 3 months.
Yeah.
Or 2 months. I don't know. But the training for being a special.
Plus the rest of them, the entire.
And then there's a 3 or 4 month gap when the war starts and the war ends while she's just stuck in that room.
Correct. Yeah, because she cures. What's her name? I called her President Coin. The evil lady.
The doctor.
Yeah, Doctor. Yeah, the doctor. She cures her, and then there's like a 3-month gap again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she should definitely be 17.
Yeah. And maybe she is, but I'm pretty sure it said she was 16, but I could be wrong.
Maybe.
But that's not that big of a deal. But yeah, it wasn't until like the third book when I realized that she just had this reoccurring, like rotating door personality.
Yeah.
And again, she's a teenager, so I'm not really gonna like be upset by her because teenagers are teenagers. Mm-hmm. But it just felt like really, I think that's what made me not be able to connect with her, because she was the same as she was at the beginning, and I felt like if she was growing, then I would be growing with her.
Yeah.
But there was no growth. So we were just kind of stuck in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think she was a good character. I think I felt like she got a lot of unfair flack from the other characters.
Yeah.
Especially Shay.
They put a lot of emphasis and pressure on her.
Like, talking about, like, her being self-absorbed and all this stuff. But, like, maybe it was just because we were seeing her thought process. It didn't really seem that selfish, you know? I don't know. But moving on to Shay, I really didn't like her.
I didn't like Shay either. Yeah.
No. I thought she was fine until she got really jealous and mad at Talia for David. Mm-hmm. Like, she wasn't mad at David for leading her on and pretending to like her and then choosing this other girl after a week. She got mad at the girl.
Which is dumb.
Yeah.
Because Talia didn't do anything to, like...
No. Like, yeah, it's annoying, but she never knew that Shay liked David until after she liked David. And then at that point, David's known you longer, and you've been hanging out with him or whatever, so you should be mad at him. And, like, just the grudge that she holds throughout all 3 books over this week
and it was
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Shay would just explode at Tally over different things. And, like, her entire character, her entire personality was... I felt
just
like...
being mean.
Being mean and being angry and holding grudges. Like, that was her entire deal.
Yeah.
And being crazy there at the end. But that was spawned by her being angry at Tally, and she felt like she was left out or forced into a position that she didn't want to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just felt very much like it was frenemies. Like, they were not friends, they were frenemies. And it just, I don't know. It wasn't, I never understood her emotions towards, like, again, I thought she was fine until that point in the Smokies.
Yeah.
But, and, like, I actually liked her. Like, I thought this was going to be cool. Like, this was going to be, okay, we're not following a love triangle. Or if it is, it's between 2 girls. And that'd be fine. But, like, we're not gonna get this, it's not like a girl and a guy like it would in a traditional dystopian book. We're getting 2 girls going together, and it could either be a lesbian romance, or just two best friends taking down the government, which I'd be down for both. But then, like, it just... They were... It was... I think what annoyed me the most was it was the trope of pinning girls against each other for no real reason.
Because of a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, that's not cute.
Nope.
Like, that part didn't age well. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't want to see that.
And, like, even in the fourth book, Shay and Tally both show up to save the day. Mm-hmm. And they still, like, there were still, like, Shay exploding at Tally. And the main character of that book was like, man, it seems like y'all really hate each other, but you're still hanging out. And Shay was like, yeah, that's just how it is. Okay.
That's not healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you with Shay?
I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. Ditto.
Ditto.
I mean, you said it all. It's
okay.
good. You covered it. Thanks.
Okay.
So what about the love interest? What did you like? We already talked about it sort of earlier. Who was your favorite love interest? There was like 8. Not really. 8? I'm joking. But there was David and Zane.
Yeah.
And the boy, who was her very beginning friend?
Paris.
Paris.
That wasn't a romantic interest.
I thought it was.
She always considered him her best friend.
That's romance. I'm joking.
Girls and guys can be friends. Yes, they can.
We've had this discussion before.
But I would have liked to have. I don't think, like, I know this was supposed to be set up like a love interest, like a love triangle type of situation, but it didn't feel that way at all.
No.
Like, it didn't even feel like either of them were really romantic interests.
No.
Like, David, it felt like the beginning of something. Like, at the end of book 1, I was like, ooh, this could be good. But then we don't see him again, and for, like, the only times we see him is, like, for 5 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, nothing's there. And then Zane
shows up.
He was, I mean, out of the two of them, if I have to pick one, I'd pick him. And I thought I enjoyed his character and how he was and how he interacted with people and stuff like that. But, like, it's still, like, even though they were, like, together for months and, like, hanging out all the time and all this stuff, it still didn't feel very romantic-y. And it just, I don't know.
It felt very shallow. It was just like, this is the boy she's physically and emotionally closest to right now. Therefore, she's in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
And that's happened with Zane as well. And that's sort of why I felt like it was the same with Paris. Just because, like, every time she was near a boy at all, like, at least the main boy of the group, she was with him. And yeah. It just happened, I guess, those 2 times. So, yeah, I like Zane out of the best because of him and who he was, but, like, their romance was nothing special at all. It wasn't even, like, it just sort of was there.
Yeah.
And I liked, I'll talk about it later in the fourth book, the romantic interest, they're just shallow. Like, there's no reason for the romance to exist besides the author feeling that there needs to be romance in his book. So,
well, I mean, it is a YA trope.
Yeah.
How can it be a YA novel without romance?
Yeah. We sort of already talked about this, but in this book, what would you have what would you have liked to see more of?
Yeah, I think we already did talk about
we covered
this.
That? Yeah.
But, like, I mean, I would say I get the needing to scroll forward in time and, like, skip a whole bunch of months and stuff. But, like, I just feel like the wrong months were picked. Like, I would have been so much more interested in seeing them come up with the cure and the new Smokies and all that stuff. And also the war at the end that they talk about. Like, I would have loved to have seen more of that instead of just zooming through it. And maybe we didn't see I don't know what you would kick out or zoom through. Maybe, I don't know. But just, I wanted more of the rebellion side. Because when I read a dystopian novel, I think of the two specific sides. And I want to be on the side of the rebellion, on the side that's bringing down the corruption and stuff like that.
Especially when it was like a global revolution of, because like everybody, all the cities, the entire world had adopted this way of controlling people, of dumbing them down, of numbing them so that they wouldn't cause any trouble and they wouldn't destroy the planet with their anger, you know. But like it was a worldwide revolution, and it just we didn't see it at all. Besides, like,
we saw the one bombing.
We saw a fight, sort of. It was a bombing. It wasn't a fight. Yeah. And that's all. The rest of it, she was in prison, and we just, like, we saw nothing at all. And then she got out, and they're like, we did it.
Yeah.
Well, that was, just didn't get any information at all.
But yeah, I don't really, like, even though the side of, like, the corrupt government is interesting, I'm not as interested on that side, and, like, the being forcibly turned into a special was interesting, but the fact that she, like, almost preferred that, it kind of didn't make sense, and felt like at that point, it felt like the series had just gone off the rails and, like, had gone in a completely different direction. And then he remembered that, oh, wait, this is a classic. Well, I say classic, but I don't know how many dystopian novels, like, within this type of YA formulaic area there were at the time. But, like, realizing that, oh, there needs to be something happening, so then throwing the war in at the end. But it just, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but I'm saying something.
I agree with you, though. I agree with what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Good.
I'm smelling what you're cooking.
Good. Okay. What is something you wanted to see less of, then?
Man, I don't know. Less montages. I'm always a fan of more book. You know? Like, I'd be fine if these books were really long, because that means there's going to be more information. I would have liked more deep dives, more information given at all. Like, Brent Weeks, I always talk about him, I know, but, like, he sort of does info dumps, but he also, there's so much information that it's just spread across, like, 4 books. You don't even get the whole picture until the end, until he's covered everything slowly but surely. And the vast majority of the way he does that is by showing it happening, and you just sort of figure it out, and that's really fun. But this one, it was just like statements it was almost like bullet points of this is how the universe works, these are the rules of the government, this is what the procedure does.
I mean, it didn't tell it all at once.
Yeah. No, I know, but, like, it never showed it. It rarely showed it happening either.
Yeah.
It was only ever just a dialogue of, or even just the narrator saying what it wanted you to learn at that moment. So, that's what I would have liked to see more of that.
Yeah. I thought one thing I probably would have wanted to see less of is of the parties. Like, they went to so many parties and they were all the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. They're young. They're like our age. Sort of. I feel like we would still be the pretties.
Yeah,
age.
I think pretties lasted until 30?
I don't know. But, like, partying's fun, but, like, I don't know. There were so many, like, things that happened at parties that could have happened in a different setting.
Yeah.
But that's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less of hoverboarding scenes,
Oh yeah, there was
a
so much.
gajillion hoverboarding scenes.
That's pretty much all they did.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool system with like the crash bracelets and how they were all magnetized, and there was like a grid under the city, and when you were outside of the city you had to follow a river because of the mineral deposits inside a river. Cool. Awesome. Didn't have to happen a bajillion times in your book.
Yeah, those are the scenes that could have been sped up.
Yeah.
I hoverboarded for 3 days eating spag bowl. And
spaghetti bologna? Bolognese or something?
It was like a spaghetti bowl.
Yeah. But I think it was it was spelled like bolognese. It was just abbreviated. Anyways.
But like those are the things you could have sped up.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So. Okay.
So both of us didn't like the ending. What do you think would have made this ending better? Like, what would have made you be like, okay, this is like another 4-star book, or 3-star, whatever.
So at the end, Tally is a special, which she had hated. Like, the specials are like the evil, the ones that are in control, actually actively changing people, getting rid of people, silencing people, all this jazz. And she had been turned into a special against her will. And the doctor, I called her President Coin because she reminded me of President Coin. At the very end, Tally's about to be reverted back to a special, or back to a pretty? Or
yeah. She's just not going to be a special anymore.
Yeah, they were going to take the special out of her. I would have been more happy with the ending if Tally volunteered to revert back to a pretty, or even an ugly. I don't know, because it was just sort of like she was totally dependent on what she had been made into, and she thought that she wouldn't be her real self if she went back to who she really was.
Yeah.
And that just seemed like, I don't know. And then she went off into the wilderness and she was like, the specials may be gone, those who were controlling you may be gone, but I'm gonna be controlling you and you better watch it.
Well, she wasn't gonna be controlling, she was just gonna be like
protecting the
planet,
which is
the
cool,
nature outside.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, I'm all don't blow up the planet again, you know. But it was just a weird ending, and I would have been happier if she went back to if she went straight back to ugly, all the way back to ugly, how she originally looked.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would have made more sense and made me happier with who she was.
Yeah. At the end, it was just really anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And so I would have, like, maybe if she had, like, I'm fine with her staying as special, but just, like, come up with a better reasoning of why she wants to stay as special instead of just being like, I'm tired of going through surgeries.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of people forcing me to go through surgeries. Well, yeah, but, like, also, your brain has literally been altered to where you can't control your emotions. And you have to be on high alert, and you have to cut yourself to be icy and focused. And you look at normal people and are
disgusted.
You looked at the person you, like, loved and cared about and were revolted by him. Because he wasn't as perfect as you were. And it's just, like, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
That's not, like, even if you don't want to go under an operation, like, still there's, like, something that's, like, that's not okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's just, like, and then at the end, whenever it's just, like, her and David sitting out in the woods, just, like, that's what's gonna happen from now on. Like, I was like, why? Like, y'all haven't spent any time together.
Yeah.
Like, why is it you two at the end of this? It just, I don't know. So, maybe if there had just been a better discussion, like a better reasoning. I think that's the only thing that I really hated about it. And also that the war ended in, like, 2 seconds.
Yeah, the war was stupid.
Like, there was no reason for that bombing if it was gonna stop right then.
It just ended instantly. There was no other casualty. There was, like, 2 casualties in the bombing.
Yeah.
Besides her boyfriend.
And also, if, like, one thing was, like, because it was very formulaic about them being a certain way, them going, and to try to overthrow the government, and then them being forcibly changed or choosing to change into the thing that they were running away from in the beginning.
Yeah.
And each time, first she gets changed into a pretty, then she gets changed into a special. And it's just like, each time they fell into the rebellion side of it and like unbrainwashing themselves really easily, except for the last time. Everyone else fixed themselves really easily, like Shay and all them, but she didn't anymore. And it didn't really, I think that was part of it, of like why I didn't really believe her opinions about not wanting to change, was because she had changed. Like, she had gone a week from being like, I need to be pretty, to I can be ugly forever.
Yeah.
And then her being like, I'm going to become pretty so that way you can experiment on me so we can take down this government, to being, I want to be pretty forever.
Yeah.
And then her being like, I'm going to take down this government, to becoming special, to being forced to become special, and then her just being like, I'm going to stay special forever.
Yeah.
Instead of going, like, the formula broke. Or cycle. That's it. Not a formula. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I feel like I would have liked this series more. I don't think I answered that one.
Oh, what one?
With how these books hold up.
How do the books hold up?
Well, I mean, I talked about that, but I don't think I talked about if I had read them back then.
Oh.
Because I think I would have enjoyed this series back then.
Like,
I was like, I feel like it would have been, like, on par with Divergent.
Yeah, I feel that.
Back then. So.
With the same terrible ending.
Yeah. And it's just an age thing now. Or it's just like, I'm in my 20s reading a book about a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes they're good, but sometimes you're acting way too much like a 15-year-old.
15-year-olds are so dumb.
Well, that's mean. But,
yeah. Okay, you ready for book 4?
Yeah.
Book 4, Hyperspeed. Same world, 3 years in the future, Japanese culture. Everyone cares about your social standing, which is ranked literally by a number of how popular you are. And there's like this massive AI system that like ranks how often people talk about you and how often people watch your feed and your videos and share your videos and stuff like that. And it's about this girl who I've forgotten the name of because I didn't care. And she's like, there's like 1 million people in her city and you're ranked out of 1 million. And she's like 600,000 or something. So she's not even in the top half. And she's trying to find a snazzy story to post on her feed that will be like, "Pow, you're special. You're popular now because you've found the story." She finds a secret clique, joins the secret clique. They find aliens who have bombs. Yeah. Drops the story, becomes super, super popular, like third most popular person in the city. Tally shows up and is like, "Hey, you gotta run because they're gonna kill you." So she runs away but still gets caught. Tally saves her. Aliens are humans that had changed themselves to be better suited for space flight. Bombs were actually just chunks of metal that they were blasting off towards an island so that they could build spaceships out of them so that they could leave the planet so that the planet wouldn't die anymore. Has a boyfriend, but like he's in a clique. I forget what they're called. He's anime. Like he changed his face to be anime-esque, which is cool. He also changed his brain so that he couldn't tell a lie, which was cool. He's in like the top 1,000 popularity. She's in the bottom half. They meet and talk for 4 seconds. Then he shows up like 4 hours later in the book, and he's her boyfriend all of a sudden. Like they had met once for literally 30 seconds in like real time. And then they were just in love, and they loved each other, and it was so stupid. I'm catching a bug, I'm sorry. And it was... Yeah. Tally was there and Shay was there. Tally blew up the spaceships because she thought they were rockets. And they were like, no, Tally, don't be violent. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm programmed that way. Yeah. That was it. That's literally the story. The most pointless love story. Like, the romance was literally like 30 seconds. They talked for 30 seconds at a party, and then he showed back up and he was like, you're different from the other girls. I don't know. It was dumb, it was stupid, it was pointless, and it didn't need to exist. It was like the third Jurassic Park movie. So, that's the book. 2 stars. 1 star. 1.5 stars. Bad book.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
Yeah, it just didn't need to exist at all. Yeah.
So I didn't miss much.
No, you didn't. You would have hated it. I wasted my time reading that book. So, yeah. So, like, overall, looking at the series as a whole, neg fourth. Fourth book ignoring because it shouldn't exist. 2.5 stars. Like, smack dab in the middle. Like, yeah. It's a good premise. Good premise.
Yeah.
2.5 stars. Good start to a series.
Good start to a series. It's the whole series.
No. I'm saying, like, the good start to the series helped it get up as high as 2.5 stars.
Oh, okay.
And the rest of it did not get it above 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I think I would give it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this was all one book, it would have been a 3-star book.
Yeah.
Because, I enjoyed a lot of it, but there were a lot of parts where I was like, okay, this is fine. Not my favorite, but just fine. So, yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of talking.
That was a lot of talking.
But thank you for doing this with me because I didn't want to have to, no one's ever gonna see that review I tried to do by myself. It was horrendous.
It didn't work out.
And I think the camera's crooked.
Oh no, I see that now that you mention it. It helps because I'm shorter than you.
You're not shorter than me. We're the same height. You're just slouching. Here, I'm gonna... Hopefully it's not been crooked the whole time.
Maybe it changed when I was catching the bug.
Maybe. If hopefully. So, I'm not refilming this. This was a lot of talking.
Negatory.
So if it's crooked, sorry. Not sorry. But yeah, so this was a bonus episode because we had both read Uglies, not on purpose together, but just we had both read it around the same time. So figured we would talk about it. But our 2 actual 2 Peas in a Pod books are going to be on the 14th, which is Prey by Michael Crichton. And then it's My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix on the 28th. So, yeah. Those will be the actual 2 Peas in a Pod discussions. But yeah. So, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If you read this series, let me know what you think. If you're gonna reread this series because the movie's coming out, or you just listened to this so you don't have to reread it. But yeah, so, because I feel like whenever movies come out, a lot of people
I do that.
Choose to read it.
Yeah.
I don't really, because I'm fine with watching the movie over reading the book. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a great morning or evening whenever you're watching this. Yeah, I will see you in another video. Bye. But, yeah.